What if the reason you feel drained, distracted, or emotionally exhausted isn't because you are weak, but because you are giving your energy away without realizing it? Every morning, you wake up with a certain amount of mental energy, emotional power, and attention. And before the day is even halfway over, the world starts asking for pieces of it. Other people's opinions, other people's problems, negative news, arguments, comparison, fear, doubt, endless scrolling, old memories, future worries. And slowly, without noticing, you begin living from a state that was never meant to be yours. But today, that pattern ends because your energy is valuable, your attention is powerful, your thoughts are not meaningless little events passing through your mind. They influence what you feel, how you behave, what you expect, and ultimately what you move toward. So imagine waking up tomorrow and refusing to hand your mind over to the world. Imagine opening your eyes and choosing your state before checking your phone. Imagine becoming so conscious of your thoughts that negativity no longer controls the direction of your day. Imagine closing your eyes for a few minutes and seeing yourself already living as the person you are determined to become. Calm, focused, confident, disciplined, powerful. That is where your transformation begins. You do not need to wait for life to become perfect before you feel powerful. You do not need everyone to understand you. You do not need permission to protect your peace. You need to become intentional about what enters your mind and what you continue to hold inside it. Because every day you are either strengthening your inner world or weakening it. And from this moment forward, you are going to learn how to protect your energy, command your attention, quiet the noise, reprogram the patterns that hold you back, and raise yourself into a state where you stop reacting to everything around you and start deliberately creating the direction of your life. Your energy is your responsibility. Your mind is your territory. And today, you take it back. Every day begins with a choice you may not even realize you are making. Before you speak to anyone, before you open your phone, before you answer a message, before you step into the noise of the world, you have an opportunity to decide what kind of energy you will carry into the day. Most people surrender that opportunity within minutes of waking up. They reach for their phone, absorb other people's opinions, read negative headlines, compare their lives with strangers, respond to messages, and immediately allow the outside world to determine how they feel. Then they wonder why they feel mentally exhausted before the day has even truly begun. Your energy is not something you should give away carelessly. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess because whatever receives your attention begins occupying space inside your mind. If you constantly focus on problems, your mind becomes trained to search for more problems. If you repeatedly focus on criticism, your emotional state begins revolving around criticism. If you constantly watch other people's lives, you can slowly lose connection with your own direction. This is why protecting your energy begins with becoming selective about what you allow into your mental space. You do not have to respond to everything. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone. You do not have to participate in every argument, every disagreement, every complaint, or every emotional storm happening around you. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Sometimes protecting your energy means stepping away. Sometimes it means saying no without feeling guilty. Sometimes it means recognizing that a conversation is taking you away from the person you are trying to become. Start noticing what happens to you after certain interactions. Notice which conversations leave you inspired and which ones leave you heavy. Notice what happens when you spend an hour consuming negativity compared with an hour learning, reflecting, exercising, creating, or visualizing your goals. Your body and mind constantly give you information about what strengthens you and what drains you. Pay attention to that information instead of ignoring it. When you wake up, create a few moments that belong completely to you. Sit quietly. Breathe slowly. Relax your body. Close your eyes and become aware of the thoughts moving through your mind. You do not have to fight them. You simply observe them. Then deliberately choose the thoughts you want to strengthen. Tell yourself that today you will remain calm under pressure. Tell yourself that your attention belongs to your purpose. Tell yourself that you will not allow temporary circumstances to dictate your entire emotional state. This is not about pretending that problems do not exist. It is about refusing to let every problem become your identity. Life will bring unexpected situations. People will disappoint you, plans will change, difficult moments will appear, But you can train yourself to pause before reacting. That pause gives you power. In that small space between what happens and how you respond, you can choose a different direction. Protect your energy by protecting your attention. Protect your attention by becoming conscious of what you repeatedly consume, discuss, watch, believe, and rehearse inside your mind. The more carefully you guard that inner space, the more clearly you begin to recognize your own voice beneath the noise of the world. And when you stop giving your energy to everything that demands it, you finally have enough energy to give yourself fully to what truly matters. The first moments after you wake up are more powerful than you may realize because your mind has not yet been flooded with the demands, opinions, distractions, and emotional noise of the day. This creates an opportunity to become intentional before the outside world begins telling you what to think, what to worry about, and how to feel. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone, checking messages, or allowing yesterday's problems to become today's identity, give yourself a few quiet moments to consciously direct your mind before you move into the world. Move inward. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, relax your shoulders, slow your breathing, and allow your thoughts to settle. You do not need to force your mind to become completely empty. Simply observe what is happening inside you without judgment. As your body becomes calmer, your attention becomes easier to guide, and you can begin choosing the mental images and statements you want to carry into your day. Picture yourself moving through the day with confidence and control. See yourself handling difficult conversations without losing your peace. See yourself remaining focused when distractions appear. Imagine yourself completing the important tasks you have been avoiding. Visualize yourself speaking with confidence, making decisions with clarity, and refusing to return to patterns that have repeatedly held you back. Make the picture vivid enough that your mind can begin rehearsing the person you want to become. Then give your mind simple, deliberate instructions. Tell yourself, I am calm. I am focused. I trust myself to handle what comes. I choose where my attention goes. I respond instead of reacting. I protect my peace. I take action even when I do not feel completely ready. These statements are not magic words that remove every difficulty from your life. They are reminders that help direct your attention toward qualities you want to strengthen through your behavior. Your mind learns through repetition. What you repeatedly think about becomes familiar. What becomes familiar can begin influencing your expectations, reactions, and choices. This is why your morning thoughts matter. If you repeatedly begin your day with fear, rushing, comparison, and worst-case scenarios, you are rehearsing a mental state before anything has actually happened. But if you repeatedly begin with calmness, purpose, gratitude, and a clear vision, you are creating a different starting point. You can also use your morning to rehearse the emotional state you want to carry. Do not only visualize having the goal, visualize feeling worthy of pursuing it. Feel the confidence of taking the next step. Feel the discipline of keeping your promises to yourself. Feel the gratitude of recognizing progress. Let your breathing become slower as you imagine yourself operating from this stronger state. Then ask yourself one powerful question. What would the best version of me do today? The answer may be simple. Maybe you need to make the difficult phone call. Maybe you need to stop procrastinating. Maybe you need to exercise. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for a mistake. Maybe you need to stop chasing approval. Maybe you simply need to focus on one meaningful task instead of scattering your attention across dozens of distractions. The purpose of this practice is not to control every event that happens during your day. You cannot control every person, circumstance, or outcome. You can, however, train your mind to meet those circumstances with greater awareness and intention. When you begin each morning by consciously choosing your thoughts, images, emotions, and priorities, you stop allowing the first voice you hear to be the voice of fear, pressure, or distraction. You begin becoming the person who enters the day deliberately rather than accidentally. Your outer life is often influenced by the inner pictures you repeatedly carry. Before you accomplish something in the physical world, there is usually an image, an expectation, or a possibility that exists within your mind. This is why visualization can become such a powerful daily practice. When you deliberately create a mental picture of yourself becoming stronger, calmer, more confident, and more disciplined, You begin giving your attention a clear direction instead of allowing your imagination to automatically fill itself with fear, doubt, and worst case scenarios. Think about how often your mind creates pictures without your permission. You imagine what could go wrong. You replay an embarrassing conversation. You picture someone judging you. You imagine failing before you have even started. You see the obstacle more clearly than the opportunity. These mental rehearsals can influence your emotional state because the body responds to the meaning your mind gives an imagined situation. If you constantly rehearse failure internally, you may approach real situations with hesitation and insecurity. Now reverse the process. Close your eyes and intentionally create a different picture. See yourself standing with confidence. See yourself walking into the room calmly. See yourself completing the task you once avoided. See yourself remaining composed when someone tries to provoke you. See yourself waking up with purpose, working with discipline, and finishing what you started. Let your mind experience the scene with as much detail as possible. Imagine the environment around you, hear the sounds, notice your posture, feel your breathing become steady, see the expression on your face. Imagine the way you speak, move, and make decisions. The goal is not to escape reality or pretend that success requires no effort. The goal is to mentally rehearse the behaviors and emotional qualities that support the reality you want to build. Your mind becomes familiar with what you repeatedly practice. An athlete mentally rehearses movement before competition. A speaker imagines delivering the message with confidence. A person preparing for a difficult conversation may rehearse what they want to say. You can use the same principle in your everyday life by mentally practicing the qualities you want to strengthen. If you want greater confidence, visualize yourself acting confidently even when nervousness appears. If you want discipline, imagine yourself following through when you would normally quit. If you want peace, picture yourself taking a breath before responding to something that would normally trigger you. If you want courage, imagine yourself taking the uncomfortable step instead of waiting until fear disappears. Your emotional state matters too. Do not only see yourself achieving the goal, imagine the feeling associated with becoming the person capable of achieving it. Feel the satisfaction of keeping a promise to yourself. Feel the calm that comes from knowing you are moving in the right direction. Feel gratitude for progress that may still be invisible to everyone else. At the same time, keep your visualization connected to action. A mental image is not a substitute for effort. It is a way of directing your attention and preparing your mind for purposeful behavior. After visualizing yourself succeeding, ask what action would make that picture more believable today. Then take that action every day. You are rehearsing something in your imagination. The question is whether you are rehearsing the future you want or repeatedly practicing the fears you want to leave behind. When you become intentional about the images you hold, your emotional state can begin changing, your behavior can become more aligned with your goals, and your attention can become increasingly focused on possibility rather than limitation. There are things you encounter every day that quietly consume your energy without giving anything meaningful back. A negative conversation can stay in your mind for hours. A critical comment can replay again and again. A constant stream of bad news can create tension you carry long after you stop reading. Comparison can make you question your progress. Complaining can train your attention to search for what is wrong instead of what is possible. The danger is that these things often feel normal because they have become part of your routine. You cannot control everything that enters your environment, but you can become more selective about what you repeatedly give your attention to. Attention is fuel. Whatever you continually focus on receives more mental energy. If you spend hours thinking about someone who disrespected you, you may still be giving that person space in your mind long after they have left your presence. If you constantly compare yourself with people online, you may begin measuring your real life against carefully selected moments from someone else's life. Start noticing your emotional patterns. When you finish a conversation, ask yourself how you feel. Do you feel encouraged, clear, peaceful, motivated, or inspired? Or do you feel irritated, anxious, discouraged, or exhausted? This simple awareness can reveal where your energy is being spent. You do not need to label every person as good or bad. You simply need to recognize which environments and habits consistently move you toward the person you want to become and which ones pull you away. One of the most powerful things you can do is stop participating in unnecessary negativity. You do not have to join every complaint. You do not have to criticize someone simply because everyone else is doing it. You do not have to argue with every opinion that challenges you. You do not have to prove yourself in every conversation. Sometimes your greatest act of self respect is refusing to enter a mental space that you already know will leave you drained. Be especially careful with the thoughts you repeat about yourself. Negative self talk can become one of the deepest sources of energy loss. If you constantly tell yourself that you are behind, incapable, unlucky, unattractive, weak, or destined to fail, your mind repeatedly receives the same message. Replace automatic criticism with honest but constructive language. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, I am learning how to handle this better. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, say, I can take the next step and learn what I need to know. This does not mean ignoring genuine problems. Protecting your energy is not denial. If something needs to be addressed, address it. If you made a mistake, learn from it. If someone crossed a boundary, respond appropriately. The difference is that you refuse to turn one difficult moment into an endless mental cycle. You also need to protect your energy from excessive consumption. Constant scrolling can fragment your attention. Endless entertainment can leave you mentally restless. Consuming information without processing it can make your mind feel crowded. Give yourself periods of intentional disconnection. Put the phone away, walk outside, read something useful, exercise, sit quietly, work on something meaningful. Let your mind experience space. Every time you refuse to feed a destructive thought, you create room for something stronger. Every time you step away from unnecessary drama, you preserve attention for your goals. Every time you choose constructive thoughts over automatic negativity, you strengthen a new mental pattern. Your energy becomes more available for creation, growth, discipline, relationships, and purposeful action. You are not required to give your attention to everything that asks for it. You are allowed to protect your mind, choose your conversations, limit your distractions, and walk away from unnecessary negativity. There is a part of you that becomes difficult to hear when your life is constantly filled with noise. Notifications, conversations, responsibilities, entertainment, opinions, and endless information can keep your attention moving from one thing to another without giving your mind enough space to process what is happening within you. You can spend an entire day surrounded by sound and still feel disconnected from yourself. That is why silence can become one of the most powerful practices for protecting your energy and raising your inner state. Silence does not mean escaping your responsibilities or avoiding the world. It means deliberately creating moments when you are no longer reacting to everything around you. In those moments, you can breathe, observe your thoughts, and reconnect with what truly matters. You are giving your mind permission to slow down instead of constantly demanding that it produce another reaction. Find a quiet place each day, even if you only have a few minutes. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Let your shoulders relax. Take slow, steady breaths. Do not worry about making your mind completely empty. Thoughts will appear. Memories may surface. Plans may come into your awareness. Simply notice them and allow them to pass without immediately following them. As your breathing becomes calmer, bring your attention back to the present moment. Feel the movement of your breath. Notice the sensations in your body. Become aware of the space around you. This simple practice can help you create distance between yourself and the thoughts that normally pull you around. Instead of believing every thought immediately, you begin observing your thoughts with greater awareness. This is where inner strength begins to develop. When someone says something negative, you do not have to react instantly. When a problem appears, you do not have to immediately assume the worst. When fear enters your mind, you can pause and recognize it without allowing it to control your next decision. Silence gives you that pause. Use quiet moments to ask yourself meaningful questions. What am I giving too much attention to? What is draining me? What am I avoiding? What do I truly want to create? Which habits are moving me forward? Which habits are keeping me stuck? What kind of person do I want to be when life becomes difficult? These questions can reveal things that constant distraction keeps hidden. You can also use silence for visualization. After your breathing becomes steady, imagine the person you are becoming. See yourself responding to challenges with calmness. Imagine yourself completing your priorities. Picture yourself surrounded by healthier habits and stronger boundaries. See yourself walking away from unnecessary conflict and returning your attention to your purpose, then bring gratitude into that quiet space. Think about the things that are already working in your life. Recognize small victories. Appreciate the people who support you. Appreciate your ability to learn, change, begin again, and keep moving. Gratitude shifts attention away from constant lack and toward awareness of what is already present. Silence can also teach you that you do not need external validation every moment. You do not need someone else to constantly confirm your worth. You can sit alone without needing entertainment. You can be still without needing immediate stimulation. You can hear your own thoughts without running away from them. The more regularly you practice intentional silence, the easier it becomes to recognize the difference between your genuine priorities and the noise you have simply become accustomed to carrying. You begin noticing when your mind is becoming overloaded. You recognize when you need a pause before responding. You become more deliberate with your words, decisions, relationships, and attention. Give yourself a few minutes of silence every day. Breathe, observe, reflect, visualize, listen inwardly. Let your mind settle before you ask it to carry the demands of another day. Raising your vibration is not something you practice only when you are sitting quietly with your eyes closed. The real test begins when you step back into ordinary life. It happens when someone disappoints you, when a plan fails, when pressure rises, when people misunderstand you, when you face an unexpected problem, or when you are tempted to return to an old habit. Your higher state becomes meaningful when you learn how to carry it into those moments instead of allowing every circumstance to determine who you become. You cannot control every event that happens around you, but you can train yourself to become more intentional about your response. This is one of the greatest forms of personal power. When something happens that you do not like, pause before reacting. Take one slow breath. Relax your body. Ask yourself what response would protect your peace and serve your long-term purpose. That small pause can prevent one emotional moment from becoming a decision you later regret. Carry your calmness into your conversations. Speak with intention instead of speaking simply because you are angry. Listen without immediately preparing a defense. You do not have to match another person's negativity. If someone raises their voice, you can lower yours. If someone tries to pull you into unnecessary drama, you can choose not to participate. Strength does not always look like confrontation. Sometimes strength looks like emotional control. Carry your focus into your work. When you decide what matters most, give it your attention instead of constantly jumping between distractions. Put your phone away when necessary. Complete one important task before filling your mind with another. Every focused action reinforces the identity of a person who can trust themselves to follow through. Carry gratitude into difficult days. Gratitude does not require you to pretend that everything is perfect. It simply reminds you that difficulty is not the only thing happening in your life. Even during challenging periods, there may be lessons, opportunities, relationships, abilities, or small moments worth appreciating. When your attention becomes balanced, problems can remain problems without becoming your entire world. Carry your vision with you. Throughout the day, remember the person you are becoming. Before making a decision, ask whether that decision supports the future you are building. Before responding to temptation, ask whether the action strengthens or weakens your self-respect. Before spending another hour on distraction, ask whether your time could be invested in something that genuinely matters. Your energy rises when your actions begin matching your intentions. If you tell yourself that you value peace but constantly participate in arguments, there is a conflict between your inner vision and your behavior. If you say you want confidence but continually avoid every uncomfortable opportunity, your actions reinforce hesitation. Alignment means allowing your daily choices to reflect the person you claim you want to become. There will still be difficult moments. You will still have bad days. You will still experience disappointment, frustration, fear, and uncertainty. Raising your vibration does not mean becoming permanently happy or pretending negative emotions do not exist. It means developing the awareness to experience those emotions without automatically allowing them to control your identity or your behavior. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. Ask yourself where you protected your energy and where you gave it away. Notice the moments when you remained calm. Notice the moments when you reacted impulsively. Do not use reflection to attack yourself. Use it to learn. Tomorrow gives you another opportunity to practice the response you wanted to give. Today, your higher state becomes stronger every time you choose awareness over reaction, purpose over distraction, gratitude over constant complaint, discipline over impulse, and peace over unnecessary conflict.